Industrialization.
Hi everyone, good evening. So welcome to the very first episode of Alpha TV this 2022, no? So I hope magandang pasok ng ating 2022 and I hope nakapagkape na kayo kasi napakaganda ng topic natin ngayon coming from the very good speaker and the most sturdy, no, pillar of Aslex PH Academy. And now, I would like to introduce to you our speaker for this evening. So, Dr. Felix Veroya, a professional industrial engineer, a Master's of Engineering major in IE, Associate Assayan Engineer, a Master Black Belt, okay, a certified Sprint Master, and Doctor in Humanities, our founder and CEO of Asklex PH Academy. So let's give him a round of applause for tonight. So Sir Lex, magandang gabi po.
Hi, good evening everyone. So checking if you can see me and hear me.
Yes, Sir Lex, very clear.
And so let's take it from the audience. Can you, if you are hearing me, pwede bang pakilagay dyan kung saan kayo na nonood or nakikinig ng session na to? The very first Alpha TV session, of course, for 2022 after a long hiatus. Yan, mga busy days natin. Type in the Zoom box or in the YouTube comment box kung saan po kayo nakikinig or nanonood right this very moment.
Yes, good evening din pala sa ating mga sa ating Team YouTube at Team Zoom. Ayan. So, Sir Lex, without further ado, I'll now give you the floor. So, guys, mag-take notes kayo and our attendance will follow through after the Alpha TV. So, Sir Lex, good luck.
Thank you, Sir Jojo. Man. So I'm gonna transition to my presentation for this evening. Alright, so hello from Dasma, from Muntinlupa, from Quezon City, from Tres Martires, Cavite. Ayan, and you can keep those comments coming para, of course, we know sino kasama natin sa session. And again, good evening everyone and welcome to Alpha TV 2022 episode 1. Ayan, no? Our webinar number 1. This is Felix Concepcion Veroya, the founder and CEO of Aslex PH Academy. And for tonight, I'll be sharing with you a topic about sustainability engineering. So as you may know, the month of January for Aslex PH Academy is all about sustainability. So we will be having these 12 themes representing each month, no? So for every month, we will be having a new theme. No? So for January, we will have sustainability. That's why sa Kapihan with Sir Lex, sa Alpha TV, those are the topics and concepts and themes that you will be expecting. So yun nga, for tonight, we will have sustainability engineering, no? A very buzzword, no? In terms of today's practice. Okay? So if you're ready, let's move forward to our next slide. Before we go into the formality, of course, of the discussion, let me ask you a question. What was your favorite cartoon? Pwedeng ito yung title ng cartoon or maybe cartoon character as a child. Okay? can you please share your favorite cartoon as a child? You can, of course, participate using the chat box. So I'll give you a minute to answer the question. Okay? So sino yung favorite nyo na cartoon character or cartoon series? And I'll just open YouTube so that I can see the oops, yeah. All right, no. If you have friends that are still outside the session, no, you can invite them. We have a lot of seats here at Zoom, no. So Tom and Jerry, Mirabel, Chowder, SpongeBob, Snow White. All right, so Tom and Jerry, so parang Tom and Jerry, no? Yung nagtatabla tsaka yung SpongeBob. All right. Augie and the Cockroaches. No. All right. Good, good, no? 'Di ba parang ang sarap i-reminisce, no? Ang sarap i-reminisce ng mga days na nanonood tayo ng mga cartoons. Yan. SpongeBob, I think the most commonly given answer is yung SpongeBob tsaka yung Augie and the Cockroaches. Yan. Napakasarap i-reminisce, no? Ng mga panahon na panood lang tayo ng cartoons. And the good thing is that yung mga moments na yon, these are moments that we want to cherish. And 'di ba, yung isang bagay we can only parang experience, okay? We can only appreciate, we can only kumbaga imbibe this if this is something that is existing until now. Kumbaga parang ma-enjoy pa rin natin to pag mababalikan-balikan natin siya. So same thing with the concept of sustainability. But before I go to the topic, let me share with you naman my favorite cartoon during my childhood. And this is actually Captain Planet, no? One of my favorite, of course, Captain Planet. I don't know if some of you are familiar with this cartoon series. So yung cartoon series na to, yun nga, may parang 5 na rangers yung parang mga forest rangers, ganyan. So they represent the yung nature, yung mga elements of the world. Ayan, no? So kanya-kanya sila. May ring sila na kapag pinagsama-sama nila, may mabubuo na superhero, and that is Captain Planet. Ayan. So yun yung concept. So ano yung ginagawa ng kada series? Ang ginagawa doon, parang they combat yung mga pag-abuse sa Mother Earth, no? Pag-abuse sa mga natural resources natin. So, yun yung ginagawa nila. And if we talk about kasi, ayan, di ba? Ganyan yan, no? Kung natatandaan nyo. The reason why I put this here, of course, it's aligned with our topic for today or for tonight, no? Ako kasi parang, maybe coming from that experience, I became a sustainability advocate. So, ano ba yung sustainability? We're talking about sustainability here and there, pero wala pa tayong definition talaga. Pero ang isa lang na masasabi ko sa inyo, when we talk about sustainability, it's something that is related to our environment, the natural resources that we have. Okay? Yan. So naging advocate ako noon. But mamaya makikita nyo rin that it's more than about the environment, of course, no? Yan. Okay? So yun pala yung mga favorite nyo, no? Ayan. So pag-usapan muna natin, what is sustainability before we go to sustainability engineering, no? What is sustainability? 'Di ba? Sabi ko nga, most commonly associated with protection of the environment, of the natural resources, but actually sustainability, if we put context, no? The denotation of that is the ability to be maintained at a certain rate or level. So meaning po nun, kung meron tayo na experience na ganito dati, 10 years ago, supposedly ma-experience pa rin natin siya at this point in time, and ma-experience and ma-appreciate pa rin siya, no? Or magagamit pa rin siya for the next 10, 20, or 100 years or 1,000 years. And that's what is meant by sustainability on that particular context. Also, sabi din dyan, it's the avoidance of the depletion of natural resources in order to maintain an ecological balance. Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo, most of the time, sustainability is associated with the natural resources or to the environment. Now, if we talk about sustainability, very buzzword. When you say buzzword, napakasikat na term na ginagamit nowadays. We are also relating to what is called the UN SDGs, or also known as the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Kaya siya UN SDGs. So ano ba yung UN SDGs? So let me share with you a video para mas maintindihan natin kung ano nga ba yung UN SDGs. So, that's a short clip introducing what is called the UN SDG. So, this is a combination of 17 major goals that members of the United Nations, and even not non-members of United Nations, any country in this world is trying to achieve or is trying to address. Kumbaga parang at the end of what we're doing, what we want is yung mga projects natin or initiatives are aligned to the 17 goals. Here at Aztecs, we are strongly supporting quality education, goal number 4. Goal number 9, yung about innovation and infrastructure. And goal number 17, partnership for the goals. But we are trying to, of course, release and deploy programs that will support any other pa na mga UN SDGs or development goals. Ayan, so ito na yung trend natin. Since if we talk about sustainability, all of those 17 goals will boil down to what we want to achieve. Yung na-experience natin today will be experienced by the next more generations to come, no? Alright. Oops. Yan. So ito yung 17 goals. So I mentioned about number 4, yung sinusupport natin, quality education. Number 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And of course, number 17, partnership for the goals. But of course, if you assess, all of us has our personal interests. All of us has our personal takes on what we want to support, of course, no. But the bottom line is that kung ano man yung sinusupport natin, basta may sinusupport tayo, and we align our values to achieving these goals. Kasi this is not just for ourselves, this is for the next generation, no. Ayan. So kaya yung mga businesses, yung mga corporate social responsibility nila, not even that their major operations and business processes, they aligned it to this, to making their business sustainable. Ayan, no? Now, let me, given this, i-screen capture nyo if you want, or maybe if you were able to have a copy of this way before this training on na-expose na kayo dito sa UN SDGs. The question is, which among the UN SDGs are you supporting or you want to support? Can you share sa ating chat box at saka sa ating YouTube channel kung ano yung gusto nyo na i-support or sinusupport nyo currently na UN SDGs? Yan, sige, I'll give you a minute to answer the question. Wala namang masama kung hindi pa kayo nagsusupport, no? Kung magsusupport pa lang kayo, okay lang din yon, for as long as you know for a fact that this is something that you would want to check on or you would want to participate and to be involved, no? Eli mentioned about quality education. About the others, for Joden's gender equality. Okay? Ayan, no? Sustainable, ayan, from Alzon, good health and well-being. For John Angel, sustainable cities and communities. For Jameson, decent work and economic growth. Ayan. Also from Alzon Quality Education. So good, good, very good, no? So kung ito man ay existing na support nyo, very good. If this is something that you would want to support moving forward, I encourage everyone to be connected to certain organizations, no? Napakadaming organizations that are doing this kinds of projects supporting the UN SDGs. Kami personally, no? Or kami as a organization rather, we have projects always that supports the UN SDGs. From Christine, no poverty. From Justin Roy, good health and well-being. So yung mga mental health, no, mental awareness, those are all parts of the UN SDGs. From YouTube, of course, from Marie, quality education. From Jamaica, no poverty. Ayan, maraming salamat for participating. So keep your answers coming as we try to check on them on the chat box. So moving forward, yeah, thank you for sharing that. Now we know already what is sustainability, what are the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Now let's talk about sustainability engineering. So maybe some of you're not familiar about the term. Siguro hinahanap nyo, may course ba na sustainability engineering? Well, of course, as per my research meron, they offer a course. I think if I'm not mistaken, if not an undergraduate degree, a graduate degree that focuses on sustainability engineering. The one that I have seen was from Arizona State University sa US po ito, no? But there are other organizations, there are so many professional organizations that offers professional training and certifications on how to deal with or how to go about what is called sustainability engineering. Yun yung kagandahan, no? So sharing that, ay ito na pala yun, no? From the School of Sustainable Engineering and the Built Environment, okay, from Arizona State University, sustainability engineering is a revolutionary approach to long-lasting improvement of the human condition. Alright? So meaning, kung na-experience nila noon, ma-experience natin ngayon, ma-experience ng next generation. Sustainable engineers recognize that their works are embedded in complex social, environmental, political, and economic systems that require a broader and more integrative approach than has historically been applied. So we're actually improving, no, the systems. So basically, if you will treat yourselves as sustainable engineers or sustainability engineers, now you're talking about systems. We're talking about policies and procedures. We're talking about practices. Okay. So sustainable engineers are prepared to work across disciplinary boundaries and in teams. Okay. So dito na papasok yung ating project management, dito na papasok yung ating collaboration, ayan. So they seek a holistic understanding of complex problems that transcend the traditional boundaries of engineering but are nevertheless amenable to analytical tools such as life cycle assessment, risk analysis, and systems engineering, okay? So if you're here, ang course mo or yung background mo engineering, well basically if you would want to integrate this skill set o yung tinatawag natin na another na feather on your cap, then sustainability engineering is a thing that you could consider. If you're here, you're from a business degree, business-related degree, very relatable din yan. May mga life cycle assessment, risk analysis. If you're here, may sarili kang business, you would want to integrate sustainable development goals with your business. So napakadaming areas na pwedeng pag-applyan ng sustainability, no? Both professional and organizational levels. Ayan. So you might be asking how Philippines is contributing to the UN Sustainable Goals to sustainability engineering, no? We have what we call the 2019 Voluntary National Review of the Philippines, and this is in alignment to the UN SDGs as mentioned. Okay? And kung mapapansin nyo dito, napakadami ng mga initiatives na ginagawa o ginawa ng Pilipinas for the last couple of years, no? So, ito po siya. No, for quality education, we have the legal framework for institutionalizing yung tinatawag nating ALS or yung alternative learning system. And of course, this is in support with being sustainable, no? Kahit out of school youth, you can go back to your education track and to complete your degree, kung secondary degree man ang pinag-uusapan natin, ano? For decent work, we have the Philippines Green Jobs Act, which incentivize enterprises to offer jobs using green production practices. So meaning, when you do manufacture a product and you consider yung green practices, may mga ISO standards that relates to that. So you can check on them. We will not be discussing that in details today or tonight. But yun, no, may mga practices, no, may mga assessment na ginagawa. And if you apply for a grant or for an incentive, and you have enough evidence that these are real practices, then you can be incentivized for this. Yan. So the Mentor Me program of the Department of Trade and Industry further promotes mentoring and partnership between small and large enterprises, and that falls under decent work and economic growth. For reduced inequalities, the conditional cash transfer provides targeted interventions to disadvantaged families, responding to the Republic Act 10524 or the Magna Carta for Persons with Disability. Ayan, no? If you're familiar with Lamoyan Corporation, they employ workers that are yung with disabilities. No, kami nung college kami, we were able to have a educational trip. So nagulat kami, and parang that's way back 2010, no? As early as that year, no? Talagang they are practicing this. So very good, no? Of course, the assistance to disadvantaged municipalities that provide supports fund for poorer local governments to build access roads, water systems, and reproductive health services, among others. Ayan. What else? For climate action, the Climate Risk Management Framework, o yung Project NOAA, if narinig na po yun, it exemplifies the partnership between the academe and the government in providing timely weather information for disaster preparedness. And if I'm not mistaken, Project NOAA was also one of the data analytics project na naunang i-deploy dito sa Philippines. So that supports climate action. A Sustainable Consumption and Production Action Plan, ito yung Sustainable Production and Consumption na pillar, is now being formulated to provide a coherent framework for climate action. And I think this will cover not only government agencies but as well as private sectors. For peace, justice, and strong institutions, a major milestone is the ratification of the Bangsamoro Organic Law. No? To ensure effectiveness of partnerships, the Philippines has been conducting the Official Development Assistance Portfolio Review. So, however, SDG implementation is still mostly financed from domestic resources. So, kaya nagkakameron din ng mga partnerships to promote, of course, the UN SDGs. So, this is how the Philippines is doing its part, no, as a country in promoting the SDGs. And just recently, the OST featured, no, yung mga related sa startups. They're really promoting startups, no, incubation of startup ideas and advancement of startups, no, to scale up, especially if the startups are aligned with the UN SDGs. So yeah, they give grants, no. How engineers like you and me are contributing to sustainability engineering? So do engineers have the right tools to meet the UN Sustainable Development Goals? That would be the question. So during the World Engineers Convention in late 2019, engineers committed to helping build a better world by signing a declaration to advance the UN SDGs. So ito yung mga mandates na nandoon sa pinag-usapan during that convention. Kung makikita nyo, quality education, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, industry, innovation and infrastructure, sustainable cities and communities, and responsible consumption and production. No? So sabi dyan, these goals are chosen, of course, in alignment with the usual practice of the typical engineering profession. No? So yan. Kaya mapapansin nyo, even student organizations, no, engineering man or hindi, they are actually aligning their projects to this UN SDGs. Furthermore, there are, of course, engineers that has done their part, no, in the pursuit of sustainability here in our country. And one of them, of course, is a good friend, Engineer Isa Mijeno, CEO and co-founder of Sustainable Alternative Lighting. So kung hindi kayo familiar, yung module po na hawak niya na yon, it actually works just by putting what we call yung saline, no? Or yung solution ng salt and water or salt water. So yun po, it will give you or provide you with light, no? For 3 to 4 days. Okay, so gaano ka cool yun. And what's even cooler is that may bago silang module na ang tawag ay mini generator, saltwater generator. So pag nagkameron ng brownout, pwede niyo gamitin na pang-charge ng cellphone, may flashlight din 'yon. Ayan, no? So ganun siya ka-cool. And saltwater pa rin po nagpapagana doon. Okay? So that's Engineer Isa Mejeno and yung salt lamp. Okay. Ang ano ba yung background lang, no? What's the background of this? This is actually this invention is motivated by yung kanyang mga trips when she was still connected with Greenpeace. May mga trips siya to Asian countries na mga liblib, no, nakita niya talaga na wala pang kuryente even in the Philippines. So naisip niya, why not provide an invention that would give light to these communities. Ayan. And yun pa rin po ang ginagawa niya ngayon, no. She is helping through NGOs. NGOs yung pina-partner niya para yung mga NGOs will be the one who will provide itong mga salt lamps na to sa ating mga kababayan na hindi naabot pa ng kuryente, no? And that's for sustainability. Who else? Yeah, no. I don't know if you've heard about the Dyson Awards. No? That's actually a competition that is sponsored by Dyson, yung manufacturer ng mga innovative na mga appliances and parang mga personal health like mga parang blowers, ganyan, no? Electric fans, no? They have this competition called Dyson Award, and one of the winners for 2020 is none other than Carvey Erin Maige. So he's an electrical engineering student from Mapua University, and he invented Aureus or Aurora Renewable Energy and UV Sequestration. So yun yung po nakikita niyo mga panel dyan. So ano yung kagandahan dito? The good thing about this invention is gawa po yan sa mga waste ng mga food, especially yung mga vegetables. So kinukuha niya yon, may ina-apply siyang process and magkakameron siya ng ganito na yung mga colored na panels na yan. And this act as solar panels. Yung typical solar panels, it can only get kasi yung visible light. If I'm not mistaken, as per my reading, visible light, no? But this one, yung mga hindi kaya ng solar panel na i-absorb at convert into energy, electrical energy, dito po kaya. And that's very cool, correct? And that's basically one advancement of engineers in the Philippines in the field of sustainability engineering. Okay? Who else? Of course, from 2020, we have 2021. Dyson Award winner for the Philippines, Engineer Mark Kennedy Bantugon. Ano naman yung invento ni Engineer Bantugon? Engineer Bantugon invented what is called the Pili seal. Okay, so yung Engineer Bantugon is a graduate of aeronautical engineering, no? I'm not just familiar with the school, sorry. But yun, no, meron ginagamit of course of commercialized na sealant para sa mga aircrafts na application, but Engineer Bantugon was able to create a sealant same with the properties, efficiency, and grade dun sa mga commercialized using Pili seal. Okay, so na-awardan siya and marami na siya nakuhang awards, and there are investors of course that are interested for partnering or acquiring yung kanyang Pili seal. Yan. And of course, if we talk about mga startups, one startups na maingay ngayon on agritech is led also by another engineer, a fellow IE, for IEs in the room. Ayan, so kung mapapansin nyo, lahat mga engineers, di ba? So yan, no? Si John Lester Mendoza, founder and CEO of FarmBox. So they provide farmers with farming essentials coming from the boxes that are purchased by investors or what we call farmvestors. Ayan. This startup, of course, has acquired attention coming from the government and the international communities in the areas of startup and of course agri-tech or agricultural technology. Yan. So those are the engineers, some of the engineers, of course, that are taking their part. So you don't have to start a startup or a company or invent something. Simply supporting the UN SDGs and organizations who are advancing and supporting these goals is enough, no? But if you see a greater calling, you are free, of course, to do so. And we have a lot of support system in place, no, both government and private sector nagpo-provide po ng mga supports to sustainability projects. So what are the roles? So you might be asking, okay, these are the people who are behind these things. Now, what are the roles of engineers? Ito na yung part wherein we will discuss what are some things that an engineer, even without a startup, even without a business, doing projects or a passion project, maybe if you're employed in an organization right now, these are things that you can also contribute to sustainability engineering. So we will be discussing four major, medyo naputol yung pang-apat, no? Role of engineers towards sustainability. Number 1, processing and optimizing resources. Number 2, designing and building supply chain networks. Number 3, meeting consumer needs. And number 4, recovering and reusing resources. And we will go with these topics one by one. No? So let's start with processing and optimizing resources. Of course, even without us knowing about the UN SDGs or sustainability engineering, I think this is one of the basic requirements for us engineers, okay, or for us people who are working for any organization, correct? So ano ba yung mga pwede natin gawin, no, on specific cases? Number 1, changing industrial processes to reduce the use of energy and other resources and to eliminate waste wherever possible. Okay, so I can still remember my stint with the leading beer manufacturer. I had this idea of a project to collect rainwater and to use it as substitute for yung commercialized water para sa paglilinis lang ng area. So unfortunately the project was not approved during that time because maybe it's too early or maybe it's too advanced during that time. That's basically around 7 or 8 years ago. But upon checking with my previous employer, they're actually doing the project now. Okay, or maybe 2-3 years ago. So what I'm trying to say here is that sometimes there are cases that our ideas, we have that particular idea, maybe a good idea as we assess it, but maybe the organization might not be ready yet. So okay lang yun, at least na-offer mo siya, ganyan. So kung hindi man siya na-approve, at least you did your part, and maybe hanap ka ng organizations that could support you even outside your employment if you think really your idea is worth doing, no? Parang hanap ka ng mga NGOs na pwede sa kanilang i-try or i-apply, yan, ganyan, no? But yun yung isang example, no? And of course, yung paggamit ng mga less consuming ng mga appliances or changing to renewable energy, those are examples. Kung pwede kayong mag-apply ng solar powered na mga processes or portion of that, so why not, di ba? Considering the total input or output of operations over their complete life cycle. So we're talking about efficiency, productivity, yung pag-reduce ng wastage. Okay? So for example, you put 100 kilograms of this input material and you're expecting like 1:1 conversion. You'll also get 100 units of an output. And if you see, no, if you're working for an organization, if you see that the output is from an expected of 180 lamang, so 80% lang yung efficiency. Okay? So kumbaga parang we need to address that gap, and that's actually supporting sustainability engineering, no? So we're talking also about life cycles, no? We're talking about increasing the reliability of the products and services that we offer to the market, no, as part of any organization. What else? Designing products and packaging for reuse or resource recovery, no. There's a thing called circular economy. Ano po 'yon? Ibig sabihin, kunwari laptop or cellphone. Supposedly, these items, they will not be dumped into yung regular na mga dump sites kasi yung mga contents nito would harm the environment, di ba? So, supposedly, these organizations, these companies will have a way to retrieve, makuha ulit, no? Makuha ulit yung mga kumbaga broken or defective or non-usable na out of the useful life na ng mga items para i-recover nila what can be recovered at para ma-dispose ng maayos. Okay? If you're familiar with the MRF sa mga barangay or material recovery facility, supposedly that is something that would help to to have this. So it's not just about that end but also the end kung saan nagsisimula ito or yung start, no, if I may use the term, yung start. So that will start from designing. So yung mga packaging kailangan something na sustainable, something na pwedeng matunaw, hindi makaka-harm sa environment, ganyan. So use of environment friendly raw materials, so something like that. But if I will highlight yung recovery also ng mga yung mga out of useful life na ng mga products. So responsibilidad yon ng mga organizations that sells or produces this one. And circular economy will basically yun yung kanyang pinupromote. Okay? Ayan, no? So that's for processing, optimizing resources. I think I have a video here. Maybe some of you are already familiar, but this is a very good video from Adidas. So let's watch this video.
Adidas makes over 400 million pairs of shoes every year. Manufacturing that many shoes requires a lot of resources, but constantly creating new materials isn't great for the environment. So Adidas is turning to a different source. Experts predict that in 30 years, there will be more plastic in our oceans than fish. And one study estimates that 90% of seabirds have consumed some form of plastic waste. All that pollution on beaches and in the ocean is harmful to both marine life and humans. So Adidas is trying to stop some of that plastic before it reaches the ocean. In 2015, Adidas partnered with the environmental organization Parley for the Oceans. Their goal? To turn marine pollution into sportswear. And they've made huge progress. In 2019, Adidas expects to make 11 million pairs of shoes with recycled ocean plastic. That's more than double what it made in 2018. Adidas says the partnership has prevented 2,810 tons of plastic from reaching the oceans. But how are these shoes made? It all starts at the beach. Parley and its partners collect trash from coastal areas like the Maldives. The waste is then sorted, and the recovered plastic is sent to an Adidas processing plant. Adidas uses plastic bottles that contain polyethylene terephthalate, or PET. And if it's something Adidas can't use, like caps and rings, those get sent to normal recycling facilities. The processing plant crushes, washes, and dehydrates the waste, leaving nothing but small plastic flakes. The flakes are heated, dried, and cooled, then cut into small resin pellets. Normally, polyester is made from petroleum, but Adidas melts these pellets to create a filament, which is spun into what they call ocean plastic, a form of polyester yarn. Adidas uses ocean plastic to form the upper parts of shoes and clothing like jerseys. Each item in the Parley collection is made from at least 75% intercepted marine trash, and they still meet the same performance and comfort standards of Adidas's other shoes. Recycled polyester uses less water and fewer chemicals and helps prevent plastic pollution. Adidas' goal is to replace all virgin polyester with recycled polyester by 2024. Currently, more than 40% of Adidas apparel uses recycled polyester. You may have seen Adidas recycled sportswear without even noticing it. Clothing made with ocean plastic has been used in college football, baseball, the NHL, the Australian Open, and more. But this doesn't eliminate plastic pollution entirely. Washing polyester clothing can create microfibers, which may end up in the ocean. Adidas suggests that customers wash their clothes less often, use cold water, and fully fill the machine each time. But this is just the first step. Adidas is also developing a 100% recyclable shoe called the Futurecraft Loop. The shoe is made to be remade because it can be returned and broken down to create a brand new pair. Futurecraft Loop is expected to be available in 2021. With the help of Parley for the Oceans, Adidas is using readily available material to manufacture new products, which is a big step towards a sustainable future.
Ayan. So you've seen that wonderful video from Adidas, no? So they are collecting actually itong mga plastic pollution, no? The nasa sea, and then they have this process that consumes less energy and less resources, as mentioned, that is also aligned, no? Responsible consumption and production. And even they have this vision of yung mga shoes nila is something that they can collect again if siguro hindi na usable para ma-recycle into another new pair of shoe. So that is what is called circular economy, no? An example of that. So there are a lot of some other organizations are also practicing the same practice, no? I'm not saying na same technology pero yung same na circular economy na application. So that's for optimizing yung mga resources natin. Okay, sorry. Okay, so that's the first one. Second, of course, is designing and building supply chain networks, no? So ano naman yung i-cover natin dito? So it's more of creating more energy efficient transportation models. So if we talk about transportation models, we are also tackling the supply chain configuration na tinatawag. Para bang we design, kunwari, if you're into handling transportation management, so ina-assign mo yung mga trucks na to na in such a way that their trips will be optimized, no? Hindi underloaded, hindi inefficient yung routing, kasi if you do that, no, as your role in the organization, then yung yung organization mo is contributing dun sa less na pag-produce ng mga harmful na mga byproducts ng transportation vehicles na ginagamit, di ba? So kung akala natin we're just doing our job to be efficient, well actually we're contributing to have a world that is more sustainable, no? Creating longer life facilities that can be maintained at lower cost. Ayan. So of course kasama diyan yung pag-create ng actual facilities na ginagamit sa buong supply chain network, mga manufacturing plants, warehouse storages, no? Na madaling i-maintain. Again, yung pag-consume natin ng mga resources natin. Okay, so yung paggamit din ng mga green materials sa pag-construct. Ayan. Use of sustainable technologies and equipment development along the supply chain. So if we talk about sustainable technologies, so we're talking about yung secured, no? Secured na mga platforms, yung hindi na-expose yung ating mga data, because that is actually part also of sustainability engineering, no? And yung we of course when we choose suppliers, we as much as possible, that's part of supply chain pa din, we check kung paano sila nagpa-practice ng sustainability in their organizations. And hopefully, as we try to select the suppliers for our purchases, no, for our procurement activities, ito yung mga suppliers sana na can deliver, of course, quality output or inputs to our processes, to our business, but at the same time they are also supporting the UN SDGs, or they are actually practicing sustainability engineering within their organization. And green supply chain management, anything that is related to green practices, we try to apply across the supply chain, no, from the point of acquiring yung raw materials, to the point of storage, the point of production, to the point of inspection and quality regulation, up until dun sa delivery, consumption, and reverse logistics. Sana ma-practice natin yung mga green best practices, no, across this supply chain network that we have, no? So that's another one. Of course, meron din tayong video, so please watch this video.
The linear approach to industrialization is under immense strain. A growing and urbanizing global population is driving resource price volatility and resource scarcity. The circular economy is an alternative to the predominant linear take, make, dispose economy of production and consumption, which relies on large quantities of relatively cheap materials and inputs and produces a lot of waste. A circular economy keeps products, components and materials at their highest utility and value at all times. It is regenerative by design and is essential to decouple economic growth from the consumption of finite resources. A circular economy provides a solution to this ever-increasing problem. CHEP's business model sees the convergence of the circular and sharing economies and demonstrates the sustainable business model of the future, operating in more than 60 supply chains globally right now. In 2014, CHEP attained Chain of Custody certification for its 100% of wood supply. Certified forestry preserves the crucial natural capital of our forests, ensuring harvested areas are regenerated, biodiversity values are conserved, and a secure supply of raw material for industry. Our products are designed to protect the harvest from farm to the supermarket shelf, which plays a critical role in reducing food waste through the supply chain.
Therefore, it's not a one-way trip like a cardboard box, but it can be continuously reused over and over again.
Customers return the equipment to CHEP or it's transferred to another participant for reuse. CHEP retains full ownership of its equipment at all times. This eliminates the customer's need to purchase and manage their own equipment, reducing cost, complexity, and waste from their supply chains.
The network advantage is the scale and density of our own physical locations and those of our customers. CHEP's network advantage combines both physical points of presence and distribution centres and the unparalleled knowledge and insight and systems that have been developed and refined from over 60 years of experience in supply chain logistics.
CHEP's end-to-end supply chain solutions leverage our network scale, unrivaled asset management knowledge, offering customers a more efficient and sustainable alternative to single-use packaging.
Many of our boards are collected from old pallets that will be reused in the repair process. Every time our pallets are used, a one-way pallet is not needed. And also, when a pallet can't be repaired, it is used in many different ways so that nothing goes to landfill.
CHEP's circular foundations and unique position in the supply chain enable us to collaborate with our partners, creating circular ecosystems that make supply chains even more efficient and sustainable. We're also putting our big data to use by developing digital solutions that could transform the supply chain as we know it. This is how CHEP creates sustainable value for customers, shareholders, our people, and the planet. You see, it's not just a pallet. It's the world's largest circular supply chain system, and it's helping realise the potential of circular systems thinking. But CHEP hasn't achieved circularity on our own. It's our partnerships that make this work, and this collaborative network will help the world trade more sustainably. Systems thinking, but chain system, and it's helping realize.
All right. So, nakita niyo yun, no? From the point of consumption, point of acquisition for this particular supply chain company. So they're responsible enough na yung kinukuha nilang inputs para dun sa mga paleta nila, pinapalitan nila yon. And this practice is actually applied by leading fast-moving consumer goods, no, ng mga companies. Yung mga, for example, yung sa mga palm tree, no, meron silang mga initiative na papalitan nila yon para hindi maubos yung resources and something like that. So not because that's their input, but because they have taken the commitment to become part of a circular economy, of a more sustainable na supply chain. So kung mapansin nyo dito, no, yan yung mga numbers nila. And even they use yung mga networks that they have to make this model, the circular economy for this organization, the circular supply chain to happen. Ayan. So yun yung isa, no? Supply chain application of sustainability engineering. Okay? Third one is of course meeting consumer needs, no? So this will cover of course creating high quality products and services, but of course let's always consider paano ginagawa itong mga products and services na to. Dapat i-aim natin na less yung waste, less yung consumption, responsible yung consumption and production, di ba? Reducing the risk of damage and loss of life from natural hazards such as hurricanes, floods, and earthquakes. So we're talking about sustainability and business continuity at the same time. So by being proactive, no? Kasi syempre, if we are not proactive enough, of course, yung sustainability natin is still affected. Di ba? Parang if we don't foresee that this will affect how our business or our products and services become sustainable or will be sustainable, then it will definitely affect, di ba, our own operations. Kagaya halimbawa nung wala naman nakakita dun sa pandemic, di ba? Ayan, may nagsusulat sa ating screen. Yan, burahin ko lang po Yan. Okay. So no one saw the pandemic coming, di ba? So yung mga business hindi naging continuous, walang sustainability in them, kaya yung karamihan syempre hindi handa, sadly nagsara sila. So yun yung iaano natin, still meeting the consumer needs even with all the uncertainties na mangyayari, no? So creative planning and development to minimize negative environmental impacts, no? So there are assessments that are being done while you are of course providing for your customers the products and services that your company provides, no, or produces or renders. Nandyan yung mga assessment na ginagawa, 'di ba? In terms of how you operate the business. And this talks about not only environmental, yung mga kumbaga footprints na iniiwan ng inyong mga products and services and even your operations. Yan, may mga assessment na ginagawa doon. Creating robust systems to deliver value to the customers. So again, if we talk about, we're not just talking about yung effects sa environment, we're talking about continuity, we're talking about sustainability. So you would want to create systems that is robust, no? So kumbaga parang kaya niyang mag-withstand ng mga uncertainties, kaya niyang mag-withstand ng mga yung mga irregularities na pwedeng mangyari to our business or to our organizations. So for us to continuously provide and meet, of course, the consumer needs. So I have here again another video.
One of our key strengths lies in the raw materials that we use, so in the fact of using a fully renewable resource, fiber deriving from wood. This is the first key strength. When we consider that these materials are biodegradable and in many cases compostable, and we can even close the loop because some of them can contain recycled content. So this is a wonderful opportunity and a wonderful sustainability story.
So yung hina-highlight lang dun sa video na yon is an example of responsible consumption and production in the area of yung creating yung mga raw materials that would not harm the environment. Kasi papunta na talaga lahat tayo dun no? Yung guidance natin is towards that particular scenario, that particular kumbaga state that we want, that all of the materials that we put into our products and services as much as possible, most of this when we assemble, kumbaga parang will not harm the environment, sustainable, less yung resources na nagagamit. Kasi ganun talaga dahil paubos na ng paubos yung resources natin. And that's why more and more companies and organizations are actually investing towards sustainable consumption and production as an example, no? So yan. Of course, kung wala tayong inputs, quality inputs in raw materials, anong gagawin natin? How can we produce for our consumers, diba? And last but not the least is recovering and reusing resources. Yan. So this is yung siguro among the four, this is the most basic, no? Even on our personal aspects, no? Pwede itong i-apply, no? Ito yung kumbaga recycling na tinatawag. So pero let's cover yung 4 bullet points here. Number 1, Improving ways to recycle and reuse domestic waste. Ayan. Dali lang ha, kasi putol siya very quickly. Dali lang. Sorry. Ayan. So, improving ways to recycle and reuse domestic waste. Ayan, sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina, if you're familiar with the MRF, ayan, no, yung Material Recovery Facility, supposedly that's the role. Pero I think hindi na siya masyado napapractice. And there are some organizations and startups that are actually collecting food waste or domestic waste, tapos kino-convert nila into something, no? I had once a vision na hindi ko pa natutuloy, to create a sustainable community wherein yung mga food waste can be converted into products that they can actually sell to other communities or to other areas. Yan. Pero hindi pa siya natutuloy. So baka meron sa inyo nag-feasibility study na gustong mag-take ng ganung topic, you can actually reach me. Designing better solid waste collection and storage facilities. No? Biruin nyo, no? So yung mga communities natin, yung mga barangay natin, kung wala nito, ibig sabihin, this is something that you can recommend to your LGUs or to kung related kayo sa mga SK ninyo or sangguniang barangay, you can actually make this happen, no? Recovering, reusing, and remanufacturing byproducts from resource development and industrial processing. So I think this was covered also from the previous na mga videos na nakita natin, no? Na ginagamit pabalik yung kanilang sariling mga byproducts o yung mga outdated or out of the useful life na ng mga items. And improving methods to collect and reuse scrap materials and other natural and synthetic materials. An example of this is yung Adidas, of course, and some other more. I can still remember I had this chance to meet an organization. Ang trabaho nila is to collect yung mga electronic waste like sirang laptop, phones, anything electronic, no? And then may binibigay sila na parang binibili nila. And then they actually anong tawag dito? Disassemble tapos kinukuha yung mga usable pa na parts. Tapos sila na yung responsible for the anong tawag dun, sa pag-dump or sa tatapon, pag-collect ng mga waste na yon. Yan, no? So, yun, magandang magandang mga projects din yun to partner with those kind of organizations para at least hindi natin kung saan lang itapon yung mga electronic waste na to. Yan. And that's actually the last main point of our roles, no? So, this another video, and I think this will lead to the conclusion of this session, but first let's watch this.
We produce a huge amount of food waste in the UK. In fact, 10 million tonnes every year, 7 million tonnes of which comes from our homes. But food waste isn't truly waste. It's a valuable nutrient and energy-rich resource. If all this waste was recycled and the energy extracted, we could power 1 million households with renewable electricity, which is roughly the population of Birmingham. In Bath and North East Somerset, up to 35 teams are out early each morning collecting this food waste as part of the regular recycling collection service. It's then taken to the Keynsham Recycling Depot, a hive of activity where all other recycling materials are sorted. The food waste is transferred into a much larger container and is then collected and delivered to Geneco's state-of-the-art anaerobic digestion facility in Avonmouth. Geneco turns this organic waste into useful products, such as nutrient-rich biofertilizer and renewable energy in the form of biomethane and electricity. The waste is tipped out in a specially designed reception hall, where it will begin the energy extraction process. It's not just domestic food waste that is processed here. Geneco also processes food waste from commercial businesses in the region. First, it is fed into a shredder to break open the bags of waste before being transferred into 2 large mixing tanks.
Here, the waste is stirred with other liquid food waste to create a recipe-controlled slurry mixture or soup that can be easily separated from any packaging. The whole process works just like the human digestive system. Next, it is fed into a rotary screen and hammer mill to remove plastic waste and to clean up the valuable, energy-rich organic soup. All plastic waste is collected and sent away to an energy recovery plant. Nothing is wasted. The energy-rich soup is pasteurized for an hour at 71 degrees centigrade to kill off any pathogens. The soup then spends 3 weeks in large digesters, where the anaerobic biological process creates a huge amount of biogas, which bubbles off naturally. This gas is transferred and stored in large spherical containers. The solid material left behind is a nutrient-rich fertilizer, which can be safely applied to farmland. So everything you put in your food recycling box is valuable and will be put to good use. Not only is the biogas used to make electricity and heat to power the whole Geneco site, it is also used for Geneco's electric fleet and the biogas-powered BioB food waste collection trucks. But the majority of the biogas is fed into the national grid for use in 7,000 local homes around the region. In fact, the gas being used to cook these carrots could well have been produced with food waste recycled just a few weeks ago, and so completing a circular economy, keeping resources in use for as long as possible, and extracting maximum value for a greener, more sustainable living.
Ayan, no? So, nakita nyo, no? Ang cool, no? If we can only adopt this kind of technology. I'm not familiar if meron na sa Philippines, pero I hope someday, no, na magkameron ng gantong type ng, not exactly the same setup siguro, maybe a smaller one or, I don't know, an alternative method, pero key takeaway ko dito is we're, you know, yung food waste natin, if you can, kahit sa household na lang natin, no, if you can imagine, no, and then kung ano yung pwedeng panggawin dito. So there's really a lot, no, for sustainability engineering to influence, no, how we live our lives today, no. Yan, napakagandang example. Okay, so just to wrap up, here are the main roles of engineers or even any profession, no, towards sustainability. Processing and optimizing the resources, designing and building supply chain networks, meeting consumer needs, and recovering and reusing the resources. Okay? Now, just to share how we are contributing, so of course, we are, again, sabi ko nga, we are supporting quality education, gender equality, industry, innovation and infrastructure, responsible consumption and production, and partnership for the goals. No? So, we have this platform called aslexph.com wherein we were able to help thousands of students to finish their course kasi nung nawalan po ng internship, ang ginawa po ng mga university is that they require students to complete e-learning courses or attend webinars. And Alpha TV has been very instrumental to this thousands of students in support to UNSDG Quality Education Goal number 4. And yun po ito, kagaya po nitong session na to, this will be archived to be an e-learning course that you can actually take, and an e-certificate will be generated once you complete the simple assessment, no? As an e-learning course. Pero dahil live niyo po siya nakuha, you'll just have to sign up your details later on sa ating ibibigay na evaluation link. Now, papakita ko po yun sa inyo later on. And also, we partner with NGOs and social civic organizations to promote yung ating mga UN SDGs to the extent that we can. Yan, yung isa po natin yung New Normal Toolbox last year, at saka marami pang series ng mga webinars. So that's how we actually support the UN SDGs. Now, the question is, with you having all of those, this is my call to action to you guys. What will you contribute to create a hashtag significantly better and sustainable world? Okay? With that, I thank you for listening to my session for about an hour. I am now open to any questions that you might have. Maraming salamat po. Sergio?
Yes, sir. Okay. Ayan, no. So we're done with the talk, no? So maraming salamat po for that, Sir Felix. And now the floor is open for questions regarding sustainability, no? Actually, hindi lang engineering yung na-discuss ni Sir Lex, no? Pati environment, no? Pati culture. Actually, it's all about culture sustainability, no? It must be in our system. Ayan. Para magkaroon tayo ng mga circular economy. So, now do you have questions, guys? Team YouTube, hello po sa ating 26 viewers. Yan. Wala nagtatanong, sir. Baka may gusto pa kayong i-share add-ons regarding sustainability. Meron po ba dito sa Philippines, if they want to pursue sustainability engineering, meron po bang mga courses or certifications, master classes they want to take?
Actually, wala eh. Yun nga eh, parang sustainability is very, it's very in nowadays. Pero when
Yes.
I checked it, wala eh. There are several professional organizations based outside the Philippines. And actually, it came to my senses na why don't we offer one? Kasi wala akong
Yes.
nakita offer eh. But well, actually kagabi before ako matulog, what I did was to look for organizations that offers certifications, and there are several, and of course yun medyo mga around 50,000 and more.
Yeah.
And we're actually, well, personally, I'm planning to develop a sustainability certification, no? Maybe certified sustainability professional na program. If you're really into it, you can keep connected with us via Facebook and via our page, of course, as the Speech Academy, if you would want to learn more about that upcoming program. I-develop pa lang natin. Of course, we will be equipping ourselves before we share this program from the international organizations, of course.
Actually, Sir Felix, one of my, because I'm applying for PhD scholarship in MEX 2022 in Japan. And I applied for PhD in Sustainability Engineering major in macroeconomics. Ayan. So, if you want to pursue yan, meron sa ibang bansa. Now, if you want to take scholarships, meron sa Germany, meron sa Japan. But, ayun nga, sabi ng Sir Lex, sadly, wala pa dito sa Philippines. Ayan. But I guess you can take on projects, no? Projects by SDGs. Meron tayo tinatawag na Youth Force of the Philippines, the SDG 2030, no? The project, they're encouraging youths in the colleges to join, no? Actually, ngayon hiring sila ng regional director, ang mga regional officers, no? Around the school. So, siguro isama ko sa link ng mga magbibigay ng attendance nor mamaya, Sir Lex, sama ko yung link if they want to join the Youth Force 2030, no. Ayun naman yung youth arm ng UN na for focusing on SDGs. They have school caravans around Calabarzon and NCR na ini-encourage din yung mga bata, specifically as young as junior high school, to join the SDGs. Ayan. And meron din naman mga professional org, sabi nga ni Sir Lex, if you want to join. So, salamat po for that additional information, Sir Lex. May mga tanong po ba tayo? How about the team YouTube? May questions po ba tayo? Okay, so Sir Lex, mukhang they've really understood what you taught us tonight, no? So now, let's proceed with the next part of our Alpha TV, no? So, I think may popromote natin Sir Lex. Alam nyo ba guys, may mga bago tayong programs ngayon, no? So, Sir Lex, let's roll it out.
Ayan, so kung walang question, magpo-promote na lang muna kami, no, bago namin ibigay yung attendance. So again, thank you for joining us for Sustainability Engineering session. Of course, next Friday, meron pa rin tayong Alpha TV about sustainability pa rin. I think that's sustainable entrepreneurship, how businesses can contribute to sustainability by one of our own alumnus, founder and CEO of Farmbox, John Lester Mendoza. Okay, so to promote lang yung ilan sa mga products natin, mabilis lang naman po ito. Yan, may attendance po tayo after the promotion. The attendance form will close 30 minutes after the session. So basically around 9 p.m. magko-close na po yun. So yun po, bigyan namin yung instructions later. So please follow us sa LinkedIn, sa Facebook, sa YouTube, and you can also visit our website at aztecspeech.com. What else? Ayan, so may yellow belt po tayo. The next run will happen February 19, 20, 26, and 27. 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Ayan po for blended online. Of course, for our self-paced, it's still on sale at 2,990. Ayan, kapag gusto niyo naman ng green belt, we have an upcoming February 5 for our first run this year. Kapag gusto niyo self-paced, ayan po, we have self-paced. Same lang din po yung contents at 49.90. With free yellow belt na po ang green belt natin. Black belt po natin will start tomorrow. Next run po natin maybe next quarter. So if you're interested, you might want to visit our website. What else? Data Analytics Certification under Sir Jojo, of course, will happen February 5. You can still enroll. Ayan. We also offer yung mga group registrations, no? Ayan. Pag 4 kayo, pag 5 kayo, 4 lang na packs babayaran ninyo, no? We have that. Project management, we have upcoming February 26. Ayan. For Kaizen, 29 and 30, pwede po kayong mag-enroll. For CIQA, Certified Internal Quality Auditor, that is moved from January to March. Ayan po, nakasale pa rin po tayo. And of course, yan, nabanggit ko sa inyo, just don't mind the dates. Pero you can enroll as a group of 5 and pay only for 4 persons. And from our partners, ayan, we're still looking for partner organizations, for ambassadors, individual levels, pwede po kayo mag-apply. So from our friends from iExcel, open pa rin po ang kanilang iExcel CIE online review for those IEs in the room until January 31. If you're an alumni of Aztecs, nag-yellow belt ka, nag-project management, or nag-green belt, additional 500 pesos off. Exam will be on April 10, 2022. From our friends from Farmbox, of course, sponsor ng ating session for tonight. Pwede po, may mga boxes na po silang available. You can visit Farmbox at Facebook, and you can visit their website at www.farmboxonline.com. And also from our friends from Race Apparel PH, and you can visit them at their Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest account. They also have their Shopee and Lazada shop. Ayan, no? They will be having the 3-day sale on January 24, 25, and 26, 2022. Avail their 10% off. So yan, voucher code daw po ay GRAC Alpha. Ayan, may ganun pa pala, no? So ayan po, ang gaganda ng shirts nila. You might want to check them. So with that, maraming salamat po. Ito na po ang pinakahihintay ng lahat. Pwede niyo na pong puntahan ito ngayon. Or kung hindi man po agad kayo makapasok, just take a screenshot po nito para po alam niyo kung saan kayo babalik, no? Pag gusto niyo mag-avail ng e-certs po. Again, the e-certs will be available, sabi nga dito, a week. Please enter your email correctly. Middle initial po tayo, not middle name. Complete the form correctly. Yan. And refresh and wait kapag po ayaw agad mag-push through ng ating link, since medyo, kakaunti naman ngayon compared dati, kasi dati po nagpa 500 tayo in one session, no? So talagang sumasabog yung Google form natin. But tonight, I think smooth and sigiling lang tayo. Okay? So I hope nakuha niyo na yung link, na-capture niyo to. And I think that's gonna be all for tonight. Maraming salamat po for another, ilang minutes ba to? 75 minutes, no, of learning with you guys. We hope to see you again on next Friday for another episode of Alpha TV. And